Hi! I've been working on making a multiplayer FPS game for about a year on YouTube, but I think now's time for a change of pace. Maybe you've seen them, but most of my older games are also first person shooters, which means I've been working only on this genre for years. And honestly, I want a short break from all that, and to be able to try new genres as well. I've been playing Majora's Mask day and night since last week, so I decided I'm gonna make a dungeon game. And as a challenge, I'll finish this game in a week. Let's begin. Before anything else, we're gonna need a character. I'm tired of working with and animating our guy in the Devlog series. So I'm going to model something else. Here's our new guy. I tried to stick to a more cartoonish art style this time, but I think you get where I got inspiration from. Back in Unity, I created an idle and walk animation, learned how to use the new input system, and now we have walking around done. Now for the maps. I'd like to make something similar to Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask dungeons, but I think dipping my toes first and trying to make something more like Zelda 1 in 2D is going to make this challenge a bit more feasible. I can see that they are designed as boxes making up various shapes, and I am going to follow that. I really want you to go play this game, so I'll try not to give away a lot about the map as a whole. I made the rooms, and I slanted their walls just a little bit so you can see them a bit better. I took this neat little trick from A Link Between Worlds. And with that, day 1's done. It's day 2, and it's now time to design some enemies. I decided to create 3 of them: a goblin, a mage, and a knight. The mage distances itself from the player and casts magic, while the knight is slow and deals damage worth 1 heart. And the goblin is faster and weaker, but it is stupid and it runs towards one specific item that you put on the ground. Now, as a hero, you're going to need something to protect yourself with. I'm taking the role of the old man here and giving the player a sword. This is one of the items you'll be able to pick up in the game. You can do a basic slash with it. I also gave the enemies a hurt animation for some feedback. Also, when you kill an enemy, they just poof out of existence. That will help a lot with the age rating of the game. It took a lot of time to finish and balance the enemy attacks, but with the help of destroying my sleep schedule for game dev, I finally finished it. All this was more than enough for day 2, so I decided to get some rest for the day. Day 3. Sword combat was pretty easy to implement, but combat alone is nothing without the dungeon. So, the first thing I did today was to create a dungeon layout, add doors and manage transitions between rooms. I also added new items to the game, the first being the already mentioned sword that you pick up in the first room. The other 2 are bombs and the magic bow used by mages. Magic is effective towards knights and bombs are effective against goblins. They totally forget about you and start running towards the bombs. The character also does a little animation when you pick an item up. Another thing that caught my attention today was that the rooms were looking totally identical, and to change that, I decided to add some basic clutter. The game map and loop mostly started to take shape during this day. The next day, on day 4, I finished most of the gameplay, but I still needed to add a boss enemy. Taking inspiration again from Zelda, I made a shadow version of yourself. It attacks like a knight, but it also spawns goblins as minions. After that, I added some very needed UI, which you may find familiar from other games. Then, I made a main menu with an intro scene, and go ahead, see it for yourselves. I've got to thank my friend Sarpegema for the music. He did a great job, and with it, the menu has the perfect emotion. The remaining days mostly went with balancing enemies, adding healing spots with pots, implementing dying and restarting the level, creating menus, adding sounds, and so on and so forth. And finally, with these tweaks, the challenge is done. What I came up with is a really short game, but making a game like this was definitely on my bucket list. And I also think that this pays a nice little homage to the first game I ever made. I'm also happy that I got to work on something different than the multiplayer FPS game that I've been working on for a year now. If you're a newcomer, please check that series out as well. Another last thing. I mentioned that I used the new input system for this game, so gamepads work with the game as well, which I find pretty impressive. I gotta say, this is my preferred way to play the game. Please give the game a try. It might be a bit short, but I had quite a lot of fun while making it. I'd also love to hear what you think of it. By the way, I'm still continuing development on the FPS game, but I'd like to make shorter games like this as well. Please comment down below what you think about all this, and if you'd like to see more, drop a like. Anyways, that's it. See you in another video.